You walked in like a midnight flame, lighting up the room, not saying my name. Your eyes whispered what your lips wouldn't dare. A silent storm, I'm caught unaware. Every step you take shakes the ground I fake, trying not to break. You got me spinning in your velvet vibe. Soft and smooth, can't escape even if I try. Wrapped in your rhythm, no place to hide. You got me spinning in your velvet vibe. Your touch is a secret I'm dying to learn. Like a slow burning candle, I'm starting to burn. Every glance is a melody I can't ignore. A heartbeat symphony, I'm begging for more. Every move you make makes my senses ache. Feel the walls just shake. You got me spinning in your velvet vibe. Soft and smooth, can't escape even if I try. Wrapped in your rhythm, no place to hide. You got me spinning in your velvet vibe. Every move you make makes my senses ache. Feel the walls just shake. You got me spinning in your velvet vibe. Soft and smooth, can't escape even if I try. Wrapped in your rhythm, no place to hide. You got me spinning in your velvet vibe. We were almost us, but never quite. Shared too many midnight rides. Our fingers brushed, but not held tight. You looked away before the light. We had the lines, we had the cues. We played the part, but not the truth. I loved you loud, you stayed in hush. We were everything, but never us. You'd call me late when sleep felt wrong. Said you just needed to talk alone. I stayed awake to hear your pain and wondered if you'd feel the same. You'd lean on me when things got rough. Say I'm the one who knows enough. But when your heart began to roam, it never once came back to home. Laughed at jokes no one else caught. We shared the silence most forgot. Your hoodie draped across my frame, I wore it like your last name. We almost kissed one drunken night, but then you turned and killed the light. You whispered sleep well. We were always almost never quite like stars that pass but miss the night. I held my breath when you came close, but love, you never even noticed a touch away. I watched you fall for someone else and cheered for you while hiding myself. Laughed at jokes I didn't get just to be near, no time to regret. You talked to me like I was safe, not knowing I was just a place to rest your heart, not let it stay. You look right through me every day. So told myself it's fine, that love can live without a sign. But every time you said my name, I wished you'd feel it just the same. We were always almost never quite like stars that pass but miss the night. I held my breath when you came close, but love, you never even noticed the touch away. A world apart, you never meant to break my heart, but still I stayed. I couldn't go with all my love. You'll never know. You called me your forever friend. I smiled and played along again, but deep inside I broke a bit each time our hands would almost fit. I tried to leave, I tried to stay, but silence always had its way. You danced in light, I stayed in shade, a story only I had made. If loving you means letting go, then maybe that's the way I'll grow. But even if you'll never see, you were the best mistake for me. We were always almost nearly flame, but never close enough to name. A quiet ache I'll never show, a kind of love you'll never know. So here I am, still letting be the dream that lived inside of me. And if you ask, I'll never say I loved you more than words convey. Were you just being kind, or did I see a sign? A longer glance, a softer line. I built a dream from every word, but maybe none of them were heard. I read too much between the lines. Thought maybe you'd be somehow mine, but looking back, I think I being kind. You smiled like I was something rare, laughed at jokes that weren't all there. You touched my arm and looked away, and I replayed it for a day. I told myself you felt it too, that maybe you were scared to move. But truth is love speaks loud and clear, and silence was all I got here. It's easy to believe the best when hope is louder than the rest. But feelings grow where facts don't stay, and kindness led my heart astray. Were you just being kind, or did I see a sign? A longer glance, a softer line. I built a dream from every word, but maybe none of them were heard. I read too much between the lines, thought maybe you'd be somehow mine. But looking back, I think I find you weren't in love, just being kind. I practice things I'd never say, like did you ever feel that way? But every time you called me friend, I knew exactly how it ends. Still I stayed, hoping for more, maybe knocking at the door. But doors don't open when they're closed, and love won't grow where it's not sown. I don't blame you for the ache, you never knew the dream I'd make. But now I see with clearer eyes that love imagined still can lie. Or maybe you were just being kind, and I mistook it for a sign. It's not your fault I felt this way, for words you never meant to say. I let my heart out far too soon and chased a never-rising moon. But I'll be fine, just give it time. Not every spark was meant to shine. I'm the shadow behind you, quiet and still, loving in silence against my will. You never turned, you never knew all that I gave by loving you. You chased the stars, I stayed below, a hidden light you'll never know. While you run free and never see the one who stood so patiently. I was there through all your storms, the late night calls, the coffee warm. You told me dreams you wouldn't share with anyone else, like I'm just there. You held my hand when you were low, but let it go when you found hope. And every time you found the one, you looked at me like we were done. And maybe I was just a space to pour your fears, to rest your face. But in my chest the war was loud, to love you but not say it out. I'm the shadow behind you, calm and wide, following footsteps you never tried to notice. Though I'm at your pace, with every smile, with every grace, you lived your life as if I'd stay. And I did, though you walked away, still loving you just out of view. The ghost of love you never knew. She made you laugh, I made you safe. She thrilled your heart, I gave you space. I saw you glow like never before, and broke alone outside your door. I tried to move, to walk away, but something in me chose to stay. Not for hope, not for a sign, just for the love that wasn't mine. I never asked, I never told, just played the friend forever cold. But every smile I forced was pain. Another drop in love's lost rain. I'm the shadow behind you, soft and clear, still standing where you disappeared. I watched you grow, I watched you leave, and held my breath through make-believe. I wish one day you'd turn and find the eyes that saw your every side. But you looked past and I just stayed, the quiet love that never swayed. If I had screamed it, would you hear? If I had cried right in your ear, would it have changed a single line in your story? Never mind. I loved you with a gentle grace that never asked to take up space. But sometimes love that dares not speak is louder than the words we seek. Now years have passed, you're far away. Your world moved on, mine chose to stay. You send a card on birthdays still, with little notes that gently kill. And I reply like nothing's wrong, like you were right to all along. But every letter writes your name in ink made out of hidden pain. But if you turn in some late year, no, love was always waiting here. You knew, didn't you, the way I lit up when you walked through, the pauses that I never felt, the quiet love I tried to still. You smile like you didn't see, but your silence always answered me. You didn't say the words out loud, but you knew, and that's what hurts right now. I caught the way your eyes would glance when no one else gave me a chance. You'd sit too close, then pull away, like maybe love was not okay. You called me late, but not too late. You left the door just slightly open, enough to make me hesitate, enough to keep my hope unspoken. Of every word you never said, you let me float, you let me drown, and watched it all without was true. How every time I said I'm fine, it cracked beneath the well-timed line. You laughed and let me stay nearby, like loving me was just implied. You did lie, but didn't try. You knew and let it all pass by. You made it easy to believe that something real lived in the weave of little things you used to do, like leaving songs I'd fall into. You never asked, I never told, but something warm was growing cold. I held it tight, afraid to say that maybe you just like the game. I wonder now, was I a choice or just a comfort in your noise? A place to rest when things felt tough, but never someone good enough. And if I broke, would you have stayed or watched me fold and walked away? I think I know deep in my bones you love the way I loved alone. Now when I see you out with her, I try to keep my breathing short. She gets the you I dreamed I'd get, and I pretend I don't regret. But every laugh you used to share still echoes in my chest somewhere. You knew I loved you soft and true, and knowing that you love me too, just not enough to call it real, just not enough to feel what I feel. You knew, didn't you, and played it safe like people do. I wasn't asking for the world, just to be more than your curled and quiet place to pass the time. But love is cruel and it's not blind, so now I leave with one last sigh. You knew and still just let it die. I'm done waiting, done pretending, done replaying every ending. You were never truly mine, just a hope I kept alive. I held the door, I stayed so still while you climbed every other hill. But love's not love if it's one-sided, so here I stand, hard undecided. You never said the words out loud, but silence has its own kind of sound. You lingered just enough to stay, but never close enough to say. I begged the sky for any sign that maybe you'd see me this time. But you just smiled and turned your face and left me spinning in this place. I gave too much, I held too long for someone who just drifted on. I don't hate you, I never could, but now I leave you like I should. I'm done waiting, done defending every moment I kept bending. You were never truly there, just a ghost in empty air. I built a home in maybe land, but dreams collapse when truth expands. You never asked me how I'm breaking, and that's the wound that's finally waking. watched you choose 1,000 things, but never me, not anything. And every time I thought you'd stay, you vanished just to float away. You said I'm safe and always there, but I needed more than just your stare. I needed arms, I needed fire, not breadcrumb trails of fake desire. Maybe love should feel like light, not guessing games in dead of night. Maybe I deserve a flame that doesn't dim when I say my name. You had your chance to fight for me, but silence was your loyalty. So now I'll love myself instead and leave the words I never said. I'll take back all the time I gave and plant it somewhere new and brave, where I'm not second, not just near, where someone sees me crystal clear. No more what ifs, no more ache, no more smiles I have to fake. I'm walking out of this alone, but lighter than I've ever known. I'm done waiting, done explaining, done with love that keeps me straining. You can keep your distant smile, I'll be gone in just a while. No more hoping you'll arrive, no more keeping dreams alive. This chapter's closed, no room for craving. I loved you once, but now I'm done waiting.
We were almost lovers, never said. Hearts on fire but left unread. Close enough to feel the burn, far enough to never turn. You held me like you couldn't stay, but never once asked me to stay. We lived a lie we both misread. Almost lovers, nothing said. You walked me home past midnight lights. Our hands would brush, then turn to flight. You'd linger like a summer breeze, then vanish cold with practiced ease. I laughed too loud, you looked too long, but every line felt slightly wrong. We danced around what we both knew, pretending silence meant it's true. And maybe I should have asked you straight, but fear and hope don't correlate. So I just smiled, stayed in disguise, and drowned in questions behind my eyes. We were almost lovers, never named, hearts in sync but never claimed. I held your gaze like it was proof, but you kept hiding from the truth. We shared a bed, not what we meant. Two souls too scared to make a dent. The words hung heavy, left for dead. Almost lovers, never said. Your jacket wrapped around my knees like something more than passing breeze. You told me things you didn't share with girls you dated everywhere, and yet I wasn't one of them. I was the place where you could mend, but not the one you'd ever choose to write a song or tie your shoes. What weight, if not almost right? Two broken clocks in borrowed light. You told me once you don't believe in timing, fate, or make believe, but I believed enough for two. but you missed the spark. Now I see photos you don't send, with arms around a brand new friend, and I just smile like I'm okay. But part of me still wants to say, was I real or just a rest? A quiet heart inside your chest, a layover, a midnight thread, a space you used to clear your head. We were almost lovers, almost more, but neither of us closed the door. Too scared to leap, too proud to bend, too fragile just to call it end. So here we are in separate skies, with memories we don't revise, a silent ache, a line we tread. Almost lovers, never said. You let me stay when you knew I loved too much to make it through. You never said the words out loud, but let me drown beneath the sound of almost every touch that you gave, but not too much. You didn't choose me, didn't say, but still you let me stay. You never had to ask for more. I gave until my hands were sore. You took my time, you took my care, like I'd just always be there. You smiled when I was at your side, but never pulled me in with pride. You called me home but closed the door, just wide enough to want me more. And I mistook your in-betweens for something close to loving me, but you just liked the way I tried, the safety of my sacrifice. You let me stay when it was clear I wasn't what you wanted near, but still I clung to every look and read your silence like a book. You didn't love, but didn't leave. You needed what I had to give, so I remained day after day. You never asked, but let me stay. You knew I'd come when you were low, and answer texts you'd never show to anyone you truly choose. But I was soft and used to lose. You never heard me face to face. You just erased me into space. see it plain. You like the way I love through pain, but never once asked me to stay. You just let me give myself away. And I can't hate you, not quite yet, but love like that becomes regret. So this is me one final time, not asking you to read the signs. You let me stay when I should have gone, but I kept hoping love would dawn. You gave me just enough to dream, but not enough to build a team. Now here I stand, too tired to try, still wondering if you knew why. But maybe truth's not what you say. You never loved me, you just let me stay. If you had chosen me just once, would we have danced instead of run? Would mornings feel like something real instead of wounds I had to heal? I'm not still waiting, I've moved on, but late at night when noise is gone, I wonder quietly, not out loud, if you had chosen me somehow. You love the ones who burn too fast, the wild storms that never last. While I was there with steady light, you called me safe but craved the fight. And I don't blame you for the fall, you never promised love at all, but still my heart writes little lines to stories where you once were mine. They say we end up where we should, but not all good hearts get what's good. And sometimes fate just takes its cue from chances lost and could have been too. If you had chosen me, not her, would you have stayed or made it blur? Would lazy Sundays turn to years instead of songs and silent tears? I don't regret what never came, but still the thought repeats your name, not as a wound but memory of what we weren't but couldn't be. I see your smile through someone new, she gets the parts I once looked through. You call her love, you say it proud, I used to dream you'd say it out loud to me just once without a doubt. But silence was the only shout you gave when I was full of fire, and you walked out like love retired. Some things just aren't meant to start, and some let go too late, too smart. But even if the end was clear, a part of me still lingers here, not in hope, not wanting more, just wondering what we were for. And if in some small twist of fate you might have knocked on love too late. I laugh more now, I breathe just fine, but still you echo in my mind. Not like a storm, but like a breeze that stirs the calm and leaves with ease. And maybe that's the way it ends, quite lovers more than friends. But every time I hear your name, I wonder if you'd feel the same. If you had chosen me that day, would love have stayed or slipped away? I'll never know, I won't pretend. But not all what ifs need an end. I hold that version in my chest, where we both tried and gave our best. Not real, not wrong, just memory of love that almost came to be. I'm not your harbor anymore, not the light outside your war. You only call when nights are cold, when every other hand lets go. But I won't be the place you land each time you don't know who you am. You sink, I float, I've closed that door. I'm not your harbor anymore. You come around when you feel small, like I'm some net that breaks your fall. You speak in tears, I speak in care, but when you rise, I'm never there. Not in your joy, not in your light. You leave me out when skies are bright. But I'm the name you always find when loneliness comes to unwind. True, but strength should not be used by you to hide inside when storms begin, then sail away once peace sets in. You never meant to be unkind, but selfishness can still be blind. And I deserve a love that stays, not just a light on darker days. You knew I'd answer every time, you knew I'd wait and call it fine. But broken clocks won't bring back time, and love that waits too long unwinds. I'll keep my warmth for someone brave, who doesn't need me just to save, who doesn't love me out of fear, but shows up loud and crystal clear. I'm building walls where I had doors, I'm healing wounds that weren't just yours. And maybe one day you will see the cost of what you took from me. But I won't linger, won't remain, not when my love was met with strain. You called it comfort, but I know now I was your silent sacred vow. I'm not your harbor, not your grace, not your pause, a waiting place. I gave too much for far too long, while you kept sailing toward the wrong. That's why I never told you, why I bit my tongue straight through, why every word stayed in my chest while you gave her all the rest. You looked at me with gentle eyes, but never once with love disguised. So I just smiled and let it be. That's why you never heard from me. I knew the ending far too soon, long before that summer bloom. You laughed like I was just the sky, something safe and standing by. You asked me things that meant you cared, but not the kind of love we did. You kept me close, but not too deep, a secret only I would keep. And silence can be brave, they say, but sometimes it just slips away. To save what little truth remains and not invite the certain pain. That's why I never told you, why I hid what you walked through. You leaned on me, you called me true, but never once said me and you. I caught the signs, I knew the rules, and chose not to be one more fool. I loved you soft but silently. That's why I never let you see. I watched you fall in love again with someone loud, not just a friend. She burned too bright and you were blind to steady hearts you left behind. I cheered for you like good friends do, while tearing parts of me in two. You never asked, I never lied. My love just lived when none could find. And what if I had spoken out? Would things have changed without a doubt? Or would you still have turned your face and left me stranded in that space? I never told you, not from fear, but from the truth that rang so clear. You were never looking down to where I stood without a sound. Some people speak and lose it all, but some of us just build a wall to hold the storm, protect the flame, and spare ourselves the quiet shame of hearing no when love is loud, of losing peace to chase the crowd. So I stayed still and kept it whole, and carved your name into my soul. That's why I never told you, not because I didn't want to, but cause I knew the way you'd smile, polite, untouched, in silent style. You thank me sweet and walk away like I was never meant to stay. So I just loved you quietly. That's why you never heard from me. Thought I was fine, didn't you? With all the smiles I handed you. You saw me laugh and say I'm great, while hiding every twist of fate. I clapped for her, I played along, but that was never being strong. It was just silence, just a sign. You never looked beyond the line. I held my breath each time you spoke, my name like it was some soft joke. You didn't know what it could do to someone breaking just for you. I watched you live, I stayed behind. The friend you'd lean on when you're blind. But never once did you believe that I was aching underneath. Cause I was calm, I stayed composed. I dressed the pain in practiced prose. And every laugh and every cheer was just me hiding what you'd fear. You thought I was fine, all okay, that I had nothing left to say. You saw the girl who never breaks, not all the nights she lies awake. You called me light, you called me brave, but never saw the parts I gave. I let you shine, I stayed behind, but I was drowning all the time. She made you blush, she got your heart, while I kept mine pulled far apart. You told me things you wouldn't tell, but I was never yours to dwell. You said I'm different, said I'm safe, like that's a medal I should take. But safety isn't where love grows, it's just the place you always go. And maybe I'm the one to blame for smiling through and playing tame, but I was waiting for a cue, for any sign that you felt too. But you looked past me every time, and I just said I'm doing fine. You never thought to look again, but I was bleeding through the grin. Now you're in love and I'm still here, pretending joy, suppressing tears. You say I'm strong, I say of course, but strength has never felt like force. It's letting go when no one sees. It's learning love can't beg or plead. And though I'm quiet, don't confuse my silence for a heart you didn't bruise. You thought I was fine, you still do, and maybe now that might be true, but not because I didn't care, just cause I've nothing left to spare. You never asked, and that's okay. Not all love's meant to have its day, but next time someone wears that smile, don't assume they're fine the while. You felt like home for a little while, like silence wrapped inside a smile, like something I had always known, but somehow never really owned. You felt like peace I'd never had, the kind that makes the quiet mad, but not all places let you stay. You felt like home, then walked away. I never told you what I saw when you looked lost inside your flaws. I saw a fire soft and slow, a warmth the world would never know. You laughed with eyes that held a storm, and I mistook it for the norm, as if that moment meant you'd see that maybe you belonged with me. I know you didn't ask for this, you didn't plan the near miss kiss, but something home and walked away. We had that night, remember June. The sidewalk buzzed, the hidden moon. Your shoulder brushed against my side, and I forgot the world outside. You talked like time would always bend, and I believed you'd never end. But truth is softer when it fades. You slip through a lie like summer shade. Maybe in another life you stay for tea, not just the night. You'd hold my gaze, not let it fall. You'd hear the pleas inside it all. But this is not a fairy tale. No rewrites here, no second trail. You gave me almost nothing more, a key that never fit a door. I walk the places we once passed, the bench, the street, the shattered glass. And every time the breeze blows cold, I hear the things I never told. That you were more than just a phase, more than a name I tried to erase. You were a truth I couldn't fake, the calm that came before the break. You felt like home and I was wrong to think you'd stay where hearts belong. But not all comfort means to keep. Some love just lulls you into sleep. You touched my life, then disappeared like echoes only I could hear. And though you're gone, I miss you still. You felt like home and always will. Thank you for almost, for the ache, for every promise you didn't make, for all the dreams that never grew but felt so real when they were you. Thank you for silence, for the space, for not returning my embrace. It broke me once, but now I see you were the start of loving me. I used to beg the stars to bend, to let our stories somehow mend. But now I hold the quiet truth, not all love lives inside its proof. You weren't the one and that's okay. Some hearts aren't meant to stay, but you still taught me how it feels to love someone with something real. I gave you all you never knew, but still I never changed that view. 'Cause even in the missing part, you held me open up my heart. Thank you for almost, for the light, for showing me what could feel right. Even if you never stayed, you helped me see the love I gave. Thank you for not saying yes, it led me through this quiet mess. But in that pain I found release. You were the start of inner peace. I don't replay the nights we had with bitterness or burning sad. I just recall the way you smiled, how it made me feel like a child. Hopeful, wide-eyed, full of fire, a heart alive with soft desire. And even though it wasn't fair, it taught time to heal in slow and aging rhyme. You were the spark, but not the flame. You were the question, not the name. But still I thank you all the same for teaching love without the claim. It made me deeper, made me true, and maybe someday that starts new. Thank you for almost, for the grace, for helping me find my own place. You didn't stay, but that's alright. I found my way without your light. No bitter words, no need to cry. Just one last breath, one last goodbye. You weren't the end, but you were key to learning how to first love me.